Hi there, welcome to my channel. My name is Clara Z and I do videos on luxury handbags and fashion items. So today I have been tagged by the gorgeous Fashionably Amy to talk about luxury handbags and the handbags that I consider to be low-key. I have selected for you bags from 10 different brands, and they are bags that I either currently use or bags that I would consider if I was looking for a low-key bag. So let's get started. The first brand that I want to talk about is Chanel, and actually I have the same picks as Fashionably Amy. So one of her picks was the Chanel Gabrielle bag, and I also own the Chanel Gabrielle bag in the size small. So if you didn't know this brand, you can see that there are actually no logos on this bag, and without knowing this is a Chanel bag, you would not know it. Of course, it does have the CC logo on the zipper pull. However, a lot of the times the zipper pull is either sitting inside the bag or on top of the bag, and so it's hardly noticeable. So this is one of my picks for a low-key bag for Chanel. Of course, as many of you know, my very favorite bag for the Chanel is the Chanel Reissue bag. This was my very first Chanel bag that I bought from the boutique. The reason that I had bought this bag was actually because I was looking for a low-key bag. It was my very first bag, and I felt that I wanted to buy something high quality from Chanel, but something low-key, so this definitely fit the bill. And I highly recommend the Chanel Reissue bag if you're looking for a low-key Chanel handbag. So the next brand I want to talk about is Louis Vuitton. Obviously, Louis Vuitton is a very popular handbag, and my personal favorite is the medium tote. And you can see that I have this bag in the demi azure with the checkers. Of course, a lot of the Louis Vuitton bags are probably more well known in the monogram, which is the LV logo with the flowers on it. However, if you're looking for something a bit more low-key, a little more discreet, the checkers, unless you knew they were Louis Vuitton, it might not be too obvious that they are a Louis Vuitton bag. Another bag that I really like from Louis Vuitton is the Pochette Métis bag. However, you can see that this is in the LV monogram, and if you do find that the monogram is too loud for you, it does come in an embossed empreinte leather. So that's basically the leather with the LV embossed, imprinted into the leather, and unless you look really close, you cannot tell it's an LV bag. So the third brand I want to talk about is Loewe, and some of you may know that one of my favorite low-key bags is this Loewe puzzle bag in the size small. As you can see, again, there are no loud logos on this bag, and the logo is actually very discreet, as it's just showing at the top here in this small corner. This is a very practical bag with a top handle and a shoulder strap, and carries a ton of the stuff and has a fantastic zipper. So I highly recommend this bag if you're looking for a small to medium sized bag that is low-key for everyday or for work use. Now, the fourth brand that I want to talk about is definitely one of my favorite brands when it comes to discreet brands, and that is Celine. And if some of you have seen some of my older videos, I talk about the Celine Trio bag. Obviously, as you can see, it is just 3 simple bags that are attached together, and the logo is extremely discreet. You would have to look very close to see that it says Celine, and if you didn't want even that part to show, you could always flip it over. In fact, whenever I go out, or if I'm considering to travel to a place where I don't feel too safe, this is the #1 bag that I generally will grab if I'm going traveling, or if I want to go somewhere where I want my bag to be very discreet. It holds a ton, is very discreet, and can be used in several different ways by undoing the buttons and being able to use it as a clutch at night, but also being able to use it as a shoulder or crossbody bag during the day. I do have a video on this bag. It was one of my earlier videos and it does not show my face. I'm sorry about that. However, it is very detailed, and if you are interested in this bag, I do highly recommend it, and you can learn more about this by looking at some of my older bags where I talk about the Celine Trio bag. So the next brand I want to talk about is definitely Hermes. And as a lot of you may know, the Hermes logo doesn't scream anywhere on the bag. In fact, a lot of the times the logo is very discreet. However, some people may be familiar with the more popular bags such as the Hermes Birkin or Kelly. However, one of my favorite bags that I have been using nonstop recently is my Hermes Lindy bag. And as you can see, again, it does not say Hermes or show the brand anywhere on this bag unless you look very closely. The brand is actually stamped here. And in fact, if you cover it up, you can even notice it. And people would just simply think that it is a very interesting looking black leather bag, and they wouldn't know it was an Hermes Lindy unless they actually follow Hermes and they know what the Hermes Lindy is. The sixth label I want to talk about is Fendi. Now, I don't own any Fendi bags. However, if I wanted to choose a low-key bag, I would definitely go with the Fendi Peekaboo bag. So as you can see from this bag, again, there aren't any logos screaming anywhere from this bag, and this is a very practical mini bag that is really roomy, that could be held on the top handle or as a crossbody or shoulder bag, which makes it a very versatile and classy bag. So the seventh label I'd like to talk about is Prada. So when I was in my mid-20s to early 30s, I did own quite a few Prada bags, and I especially like their nylon bags. If you look at a lot of the Prada bags, actually the logo is actually quite small, and if you buy some of their nylon bags, they tend to be a bit more inexpensive, and you don't have to worry about getting them wet or getting stains on them because they can be easily wiped off. The bag I am showing here is probably one that is more in trend, and it is one of the re-edition handbags. So if you're considering a small bag that is fairly discreet and also luxury label, which is more of a grab and go bag, you can consider this bag. And if you don't want to be showing the tiny logo that is showing on one side of the bag, you can just flip the bag to the other side so that it's not showing the Prada label. So the eighth label that I would like to talk about is Saint Laurent. And one of the bags that I think is very practical and also low-key is the YSL Loewe camera bag. Recently, the bag was released in a model where it is in an embossed leather so that there is no YSL logo sticking out from the bag. However, it does not come in the chevron print and comes in a plain leather, so that makes it even more low-key. I've seen a lot of really good reviews on this bag. It holds a lot and can be worn cross-body or on the shoulder, which makes it a very low-key practical bag, and I would definitely consider this bag if I was looking for something that carried a little bit more and could be worn in several different ways and was practical. The next bag I want to talk about comes from Valentino. I don't own too many Valentino bags, but if I wanted to own a Valentino bag, I would definitely consider the Valentino Rockstud tote bag. So again, this bag does not have a very loud logo on it. It does have the spikes along the top. However, without knowing this was Valentino, to me this is another stylish option that has something a little special, but you don't see logos all over it and can be considered as a low-key tote bag. So the final label I want to talk about is Balenciaga. I currently own the Balenciaga City bag, which I will put a picture of right here. It is a very practical, roomy, and lightweight bag that I used for actually a couple of years before retiring the bag to rotate with some of my other bags. Now, the wear and tear of this bag is not as good over the long term. However, I did find that this was an extremely practical and roomy bag that could be used for every day and was very low maintenance. I still really like this bag. However, I tend to rotate my other bags around a bit more, so have been using it less. But I do recommend this bag overall if you're looking for a low-key, a bit more edgy and roomy, practical shoulder bag. So those are the 10 bags that I would recommend from the 10 designer luxury brands. Of course, if you'd like to ask me, is there a non-luxe brand that looks luxe that is also low-key? I just wanted to add an additional bonus bag to give honorable mentions to. That would be my Vasic Bond mini bag. Some of you may have already seen me talk about this bag in some of my other videos. However, I love this bag because it is low-key, but actually it looks luxurious. I don't know how many times I have walked into a Chanel, a YSL, or any other designer shop, and people have actually asked me, is this an Hermes bag? Just because the way it looks, being so simple, and the colors are so gorgeous, that people have actually mistaken this for an Hermes or a Celine bag, and hence I have been really enjoying using this as a low-key bag. So I hope you have found this video insightful and has given you some ideas for you in case you are looking for a luxury handbag that tends to be a bit more low-key. However, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them down below. And if there are any low-key bags that you personally like, please feel free to share them with me down in the comments below. And if you haven't done so already, please feel free to like and subscribe, as I do videos regularly on luxury handbags and fashion topics. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you a very lovely day. Bye bye now.